Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN, has lifted its restriction on domiciliary accounts while allowing account holders to make withdrawals of up to $10,000 on a daily basis. Well, the CBN disclosed this in a press statement after deliberating at an extraordinary bankers committee meeting. According to the press statement signed by the CBN's Director of the Banking Supervision Department, Haruna Mustafa, the meeting was held to discuss the implementation and implications of the policy changes for the banking public. All right, let's join our guests, or he's joining us actually. He's Dr. Ogunsola Akintunde, who is an economic and financial analyst with Kama Professional Services. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight tonight. Tell us, really, what this means at the end of the day for the Nigerian economy, that I can actually go to the bank, withdraw my $10,000 every day.
All right, thank you very much. Actually, it's a welcome development for the Nigerian business sector in the sense that now people can take their money into the bank and deposit it. One of the challenges that we have faced is that when people have this dollar, they don't even take it to the bank. They keep it in their houses because if you deposit that money in the bank, you can hardly have access to taking it back. So now this policy, we encourage people to bring out the dollars, take it to the bank. It's going to encourage foreign investors to bring in money into the economy of Nigeria, and then they can have access to their money at any time without any restriction based on what the CBN has actually announced. This is also a very good move that is going to create more jobs, because we can see from the meeting that the president had today in the villa, we have so many foreign investors bringing their businesses to Nigeria as a result of the free flow of the naira that the president has announced, especially the Nigerian youth. How does it affect them? This will help to create job for the Nigerian youth. There will be no more scarcity of dollar in the forex, in the parallel market. Here, where we're making the exchange rate to skyrocket, we can see that in the coming few days, the exchange rate will begin to go down from over 750 that we have been, trading in the parallel market, coming down on the I&E window to about 660 naira, and it's still going to come down, even as a result of the subsidy removal of this federal government. I think it's a welcome development. There is no more shady deal in the banking sector on this forex. Some people are having access to the dollars, while some are not having access to it. Everybody can now have access to it. But we have a danger that the federal government needs to actually watch out for, which is the dollarization of the economy of the country, because when this dollar is now made available, it's possible that people will now begin to trade in dollars rather than trading in naira. So federal government needs to actually watch out for that, and also monitor the NFIU, the DSS, and other security agencies, which should also monitor this flow of dollars in order to curb terrorism financing, because this insecurity financing is actually done in US dollars, and if it's actually made so available, it could actually cause some problems. So they need to actually monitor it and ensure that these safeguards are actually put in place.
Akintunde, you talk about trading in dollars, and then you mentioned terrorism financing. I'm particularly bothered about money laundering, and of course, which could aid terrorism financing. $10,000 per day. We're still talking about money laundering, and then this. How do you think know your customer, KYC, and anti-money laundering policies will guard against money laundering with this new policy?
Yeah, those are part of the policies that the government have put in place. You must actually know your customer. You must know the businesses they are actually doing, and also ensure that whatever they are actually withdrawing this forex for is actually the permitted transactions in the windows of the I&E windows. So these are the monitoring that I'm talking about, that the security agencies need to actually monitor that when somebody is withdrawing $10,000, it must be that the person wants to go and invest it into a business and not to go and finance terrorism. And that's what we actually need to guide on.
Right, very quickly, what do you think was the thinking behind government's decision to actually allow for this? What factors may have contributed to this? Beyond some of the points, and you just talked about some of the dangers that may lie ahead. But what do you think may have, contributed to government taking this decision?
Yeah, one major factor that's contributed to this is the policy of the free flow of the dollar to the naira. You cannot say you are freely flowing the currency and then you are still putting some restrictions in some particular areas. And that's why government needs to actually, lift all restrictions and let the dollar trade for itself, let the dollar fight for itself in the market and let the naira also fight for its value. That's the key reason behind this. And also, the second major reason is to attract and woo foreign investors and increase our foreign direct investment to the country.
Okay, yeah, amazing. Akintunde, you talk about foreign direct investment. I was coming to retention of capital. No doubt, this will help capital retention in Nigeria. So, speak to us about the implications of this to the banking public.
The banking public now can have their monies retained in the bank in such a way that anytime they want to have access to their money, whether outside the country or within the country, they can have access to their money and they can actually invest that money in Nigeria. Also, another addendum to this policy is that you can even make transfers, and the transfer does not even have limit. It is only cash withdrawal that is 10,000, but you can transfer $1 million to another account, another bank within the country. You can use your domiciliary account card to actually trade online in USD, and these are the advantages. Now, talking about the capital retention, this will make our money to stay in Nigeria. People will not be packing naira, changing it to dollars, and taking it out there to go and invest in other countries. Now, Nigeria economy is now being jump-started by this administration, and then it's going to improve and encourage investors to actually invest in Nigeria. We are not going to have our monies going out of the country again.
All right, thank you very much. We'll have to leave it there. Ogunsola Akintunde joining us there. But let's bring in our other guest, Dr. Tommy Atom, who's, of course, representing Labour. They had this meeting with President Tinubu, and I would like to find out exactly what the outcome of that meeting was. Dr. Tommy Atom, good to have you on Newsnight tonight. Tell us very quickly, what are the highlights of that meeting? We know that committees have been set up again to look at some of your demands and what needs to be done to put palliatives in place. Tell us more about it.
Thank you very much. I think this is the first time, not the previous meeting was just to look at the nitty-gritty. But in today's meeting, the list of the committees, steering committees, and other 5 subcommittees were drawn, all including government and labor, to look at and also have a time frame of 8 weeks, which we consider that very reasonable. And also to look at the terms of reference going by, which we transmitted in a few days for both government and labor to look at it and see what to add and extract, thereby moving forward from there. So it's a good development that we are talking, government is talking, and we do hope that because we've had the past, because of that trust deficit, so in this time we are also very careful to ensure that whatever we're going to arrive at will be implemented by the government to cushion the effects which you have seen. Within the few weeks, we've been very lenient with government, taking cognizance of the challenges the workers and the entire populace are facing, which has also had a long strenuous in their means of survival. So it's a good development that we are engaging government, and government is also engaging us to see how it can alleviate, the suffering from the removal of subsidy.
Doctor, some people in the country are saying that many times we don't get to hear about labor or labor complaining about anything till it's time to talk about fuel subsidy. How do you want to react to this fact or to this allegation that labor hardly comes out to fight for anything but fuel subsidy?
That is not the issue. You know, it's a misconception. I tie it to emotional blackmail because if you look at the issue, okay, let's even go back. Let's not even dwell on the issue of fuel subsidy. The issues of palliative that today, the core civil service, especially those who are under consolidated public service structure, have enjoyed the 40% increase by the just last administration. It was a struggle from the labor because they have seen the negative impact that has caused a worker, you know, where your salary remains static and the socioeconomic challenges become so obvious. So if anybody feel that labor don't talk until it is obvious that, but of course it is also very important that we dwell emphasis on the fuel subsidy removal because it is the engine that drives the economy. It affects both the worker, non-worker, or the sector. And of course, you know, coming to the studio, for instance, without fuel, how will I come? So it is important. And any sane government must take into cognizance the economic principle. When you apply the 3 E's principle of industrial relations, talking about the skill, which you know is very important, that drive the energy, the environment, and the economy. So there's no any sane labor office, labor leader must be concerned about it.
Very
it's
quickly,
very important.
Before we let you go, absolutely, everybody's affected by this. You have an 8-week deadline to come up with, you know, some of the deliverables that have been agreed on. Do you want to let us into some of those deliverables that you're expecting?
Well, that will be determined when we see the terms of reference. So we are waiting for the terms of reference. But I can assure you, because those who are involved in different committees, they are very knowledgeable and quality people. And of course, you know, the strain of labor working in pari passu with government. The main thing is that trust should be there, because over the years we've had this deficit of trust.
Do you have that trust now?
Well, as we progress, we will look at it. We'll see from the implementation.
All right, Dr. Tommy Ayton joining us there.